After seeing that their single mom's health was getting worse, twin brothers decided to sell lemonade and their toys outside their house to help pay the bills. One day, a fancy car pulled up next to them. Alexa raised her twin sons, Alonso and Alfredo, by herself after her husband left them when they were only a year old. She was a housewife at the time, but she had to work 2 jobs, which hurt her health in the long run. Alexa and her ex-husband Steph had a happy marriage before they broke up. They had fun raising their children together and in the early years of their marriage when they were still in love. When Alexa was diagnosed with lupus, an autoimmune disease with no cure, everything changed. It was hard on Steph and Alexa's monthly budget because they had to keep buying expensive medicine to treat the disease. At one point, money was so tight for the family that Steph finally lost it. He yelled, "I can't do this anymore. In this family, I feel like I'm an ATM. All I do is give, but none of you give me anything back." He was so upset, so he told Alexa, "Honey, I'm sorry. I will get a job to help pay the bills. The kids can stay with my mom. She would probably be glad to take care of them." She made a deal. "No, what will our friends say then? People will say I'm a careless husband who made my sick wife go to work. They'll think I can't take care of my kids." Steph fought. Alexa wasn't sure what Steph meant by what he said. She thought he was asking her to work in a sneaky way, but when she offered, he turned her down. She asked him, "Then what do you want us to do?" Steph said out of the blue, "I want a normal family. How can I have a normal family if my wife has a disease that she will have for the rest of her life?" When Alexa heard this, her heart sank. She never wanted to get sick and she never wanted to be a bother to anyone. She said with sadness, "I'm sorry you feel that way, Steph. I didn't want to get lupus at all. I feel just as bad about the diagnosis as you do." "Well, Alexa, I'm sorry. I think it would be better to end things now than later. I don't want to take out my anger on the kids, and I don't think I can keep living this way for the rest of my life. We should end our marriage." Before he left, Steph told her this. Alexa felt terrible. She fell to the ground and cried because she didn't know what to do. She really cared about Steph and she thought that they had promised to stay together, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, in front of God. Alexa called her mom and cried when Steph moved out. "He just left me, Mom. I have no idea what to do. I feel so lost." Stephanie got to her daughter's house in less than 30 minutes. She hugged her the whole night, trying to make her feel better while keeping an eye on the twins. "Mommy has come, sweetheart. Let it all out." Stephanie gave her time to be sad. After a while, she told her to get tough and start looking for jobs so she could raise her kids in a nice place. Alexa ended up getting a great job as a designer at a local flower shop. It gave her enough money to pay her bills and save a little for a rainy day. The family carried on as usual. Stephanie sold her apartment and moved in with Alexa, the 2 kids, and Alexa's boyfriend. She was happy to be a full-time grandmother because that was something she had always wanted to do. "I'm sorry to have made you take care of the kids, Mom. You should be happy and retired." Alexa said this one day when she saw her mom still doing laundry at 9 p.m. "Alexa, don't be silly. I love having grandkids. I like being home with Alonso and Alfredo all day. Don't worry about it. Just promise to work less. Come hang out with us. You can't put yourself under too much stress or you might give up," she told. After a few years, the family went on with their normal lives. Alexa was given the title senior partner at the flower shop where she worked, which meant she had to work more hours with the owners. Even though she was doing well at work and making more money, it hurt her health, and the disease got worse. Alexa started having pains in her muscles, joints, and chest, which made it hard for her to work. Alexa spent more and more time at home, and the cost of her maintenance medicine went up as she took more of it. Even with the money she had saved up over the past few years, she ran out of money in the end. Alexa said to her mom one night, "Mom, I don't know what to do," she cried. "I don't want the kids to grow up with nothing, but my medicine is so expensive." I feel like I have to choose between my kid's future and staying alive to see that future. Stephanie promised her daughter that she would help pay the bills for as long as she could. However, since Stephanie was already retired, her savings would eventually run out. Stephanie and Alexa had no idea that Alonso and Alfredo were listening to what they were talking about. Alonso told his brother, "Something isn't right. Mom needs our help." Even though they were only 6 years old, the twins knew what was going on at home. They made plans to help their mom that night. "Alonso, let's set up a lemonade stand every afternoon in front of the house. So we'll be able to make some money for Mom," Alfredo suggested. "That's a good plan. Let's make some signs that we can put in the garage and around the neighborhood," Alonso said as he went to get some paper and their coloring box. They started to work on the signs, and all of a sudden, Alonso wondered if they would make enough money. "Do you already think this is fine? We might be able to sell more," he suggested. The twin brothers started looking around the room for things they could sell. "I suppose we could sell our toys," Alfredo offered. "Mom is more important than any of our toys." Alonso agreed by nodding his head. They got a box out of their closet and put toys and clothes in it that they could sell at their lemonade stand. The next day, Alonso and Alfredo set up their lemonade stand as soon as they could. They told Stephanie they were bored and wanted to try selling lemonade to their neighbors, and she was happy to help them set it up. When Stephanie wasn't looking, they snuck their toys out and put them in front of the lemonade stand, where they couldn't be seen from inside the house. They sat down and waited for people to come up to them. It got off to a slow start. In the first 30 minutes, only 2 cups were sold. But when a leader from the community stopped by, she took a picture of the lemonade stand and put it on their group chat. Within minutes, people came out of their homes to back Alonso and Alfredo's stand. In just a couple of hours, they served dozens of cups of lemonade and sold most of their toys. Just as they were about to go home for the day, a nice car pulled up in front of the house. People in the neighborhood were curious because they had never seen that car before. As soon as the car stopped, they asked, "Who could that be?" A man in a clean black suit got out and asked for a cup of lemonade. Alonso poured him a cup and gave it to him with a smile. The man asked the boys, "Why do you have a lemonade stand? Why do you want to sell your toys? Still, these look nice." He said this while holding up what looked like a brand new toy car. "Well, our mom is sick," said Alonso. Alfredo added, "She has lupus, and because she works so hard, it got worse, and now she has to buy expensive medicine." The man felt bad for the 2 boys and was impressed by how much they loved their mother. He asked, "Is your mom in the house? Think I could talk to her?" Alonso nodded and asked Alfredo to take care of the lemonade stand while he led the man into their house. "Mom," he yelled, "one of the people who bought lemonade from us wants to talk to you." Alexa was shocked to hear this, but she still went up to the rich man. "Sir, how can I help you? Please don't mind how messy our house is." She gave him a sign to sit down on the couch. "As I drove down the street, I saw your twins selling their toys and lemonade. They told me that they were doing this to help you pay for your medical bills." He gave a reason. Alexa's eyes got really big. Her children told her that they were selling lemonade because they didn't have anything else to do. She said with tears in her eyes, "I didn't know it was for me. I came here because their story moved me, and I want to help, because my sister also has lupus, and I know how expensive it is to treat. I told her to go to the hospital. I'd like to pay for your medical bills." He said it. Alexa was surprised by the man's kindness, but she quickly shook her head. "I just can't agree with that. This is the money you worked hard for, and I can't give you anything in return or pay you back," she let him know. The man took out his checkbook and said, "I don't expect anything in return." He began to write an amount that he wouldn't say in front of Alexa. He put the check in an envelope, sealed it, and gave it to her. "Please take this," he said again and again. "I hope it will be enough to pay for your medicine and any debts you may have. When you can, pay it forward by helping someone else who needs it," told the man. Alexa took the letter while she was crying. She shouted, "Thank you, sir. You don't know how important this is to me. I was just telling my mom yesterday how scared I was that I wouldn't get to see my kids grow up. She said yes. I'm happy I can help you and your family. You have boys who are so great. They want their mother to live long enough to see them grow up and change the world with their kindness. More people like them are needed in the world, said the man before he got up to leave. Alexa asked the man to dinner that night, but he didn't want to go. He said goodbye and said that he had to go back to work. Alexa and the twins never saw the kind man again after that. Alexa almost fell over when she saw how much money he had given her before he left. She told herself, there's no way. The money was enough to pay for her maintenance medicine for her autoimmune disease for several years, pay off the mortgage on their home, and put some money away for bad weather. She worked hard to get better so she could spend time with her mom and 2 kids for the next 30 years.